The certainty of departure and arrival, of being locked inside a moving capsule, makes time feel different. On a train, life narrows. You cannot wander off, you cannot multiply your choices. You are carried in a single direction, and that narrowing changes everything. In daily life, time splinters. We are pulled from task to task, distraction to distraction, but on a train, confinement brings an odd freedom. The freedom to do less. To sip a coffee, to open a book, to let the hours deepen instead of scattering.
For this journey, my path is to London, and with you, to one of my favorite bookshops in the city. In my bag, I've brought a small book, Leigh Fermor's A Time to Keep Silence. Decades ago, he sought stillness in monasteries, testing what silence could do to a restless mind. My journey is to London. His was into cloisters, but the questions are not so different. And perhaps if we place these two journeys side by side, we may discover what silence can still teach us today.
Trains were once natural sanctuaries, hours when the world had no claim on you. But now, even here, the internet finds us. The refuge is perforated by Wi-Fi and screens. Fermor felt this too. When he entered the abbey at St. Wandrille, he wrote that silence felt unbearable, almost like entombment. But after a few days, that very silence became liberating, a state of peace unthought in the ordinary world. Here, on the train, the same challenge remains. What feels at first like boredom may become clarity if we allow it. In a moment, I'll tell you what Fermor noticed when the troubled waters of his mind finally grew still. I often envy the people around me, scrolling through the games or feeds, not because I want their screens, but because I want their time. A train journey is a gift, hours already sealed off. A corridor of time that asks only to be used. Fermor described this gift precisely. The mind, he said, begins to settle, and thoughts rise to the surface that in the busy world are drowned. So here is the tension. Do we waste the gift, or do we use it? In a moment, I'll tell you what happened when Fermor left the monastery and tried to re-enter the noisy world.
When Fermor returned to Paris after weeks in silence, the city seemed to him like an inferno. He said the noise, the vulgarity, even the advertisements in the train windows felt like personal insults. The world outside was far harder to endure than the silence had been in those cloisters. And stepping off here in London, I just stepped off the train. I understand. The moment the train door opens, the solitude collapses. The rare clarity we were allowed to get disappears, dissolves into the city's flood of noise.
But there is one more stop I want to make, to a bookshop, where Fermor's insights might still have something to say to us today.
We are going to finish this video near a church that I found, but I would like to share with you one of my favorite bookshops in London. It's Waterstones at Gower Street, and although I know that Waterstones is a big chain of bookshops, this one literally has everything and beyond. It's a wonderful place to serendipitously discover books. So I have to share with you very briefly. Well, it seemed unfair to record our speak on camera when I was in the bookshop itself, but I got 3 books. Let's go to that church that I told you about and give you some concluding remarks. This is not just a book about monasteries, it's a book about us, about craving for silence that runs through every noisy age. Fermor discovered it in the cloister. I tried to discover it on train. What both journeys reveal is that silence is not a luxury, it is a necessity. The train reminds us that life moves in one direction, relentlessly, and the question is what we do with the time between our departure and arrival, between when we are born and when we are going to die. And perhaps that is why silence is worth keeping.
Because it is the only way to truly inhabit the hours we are given.